Hey guys, Richard here. Thanks for listening to Government Sales Momentum. In this episode, I wanted to give a quick preview because the meat of this episode covers the question, are you ready for government sales? But it was actually put out initially in a video to some of our clients. So we do have a company, Richard C. Howard and Associates, where we help companies sell products and services to the government. That's separate from the podcast, but we received such an overwhelming response to the video that I wanted to convert that into a podcast. And, it's really a great checklist, essentially, to go through to decide if your business is ready to start selling in the government or the federal marketplace. So hope you enjoy. Reach out with any questions. You can go to richardchoward.com. Any questions you can shoot me through there, and we'd be glad to answer them. All right, take care. Hey, Richard here with Richard C. Howard and Associates. Today we're talking about the top 5 things you need to consider before beginning your federal sales journey. So if you're a company that is already selling to the government, this video is not for you. We certainly have a lot of services that can improve your sales, capture new business in different agencies. Feel free to fill in a consultation form, check out our services page. But for those of you that haven't sold anything to the government yet, this is worth watching. So I'm going to jump right into it and talk about the first thing that you need to do before selling to the government. And this comes even before registering, and that's asking the question, does the government buy what we sell? Now, there are a lot of ways to answer that question, but what I would recommend is going to usaspending.gov. You can do a quick search there to just ensure that the government buys what you sell, the product or service. The answer is almost always yes. The government is the single biggest purchaser of goods and services in the world, but you want to know how much they're buying, who's buying what you're selling, and what quantities. That can give you a pretty good indication of whether to even move forward or not, because there are a few areas where the government's not spending a lot of money. Now, second thing we need to think about, once we know they buy what you sell, you have to have a company and be registered to sell to the government. So you can check out some of the training videos that we have on our site. There are some others out there that can walk you through how to register with sam.gov and how to get a DUNS number and a cage code. But those are all things that you're going to need to do before you can sell anything to the government. Now, the next thing that you need to consider is, what does your commercial pipeline look like? And the reason I bring that up is because government sales, the timeline involved with government sales, is typically a lot longer than in commercial sales. So most companies need to have some type of revenue coming in while they build that initial government sales pipeline. And that could take 12 to 18 months. It can be very lucrative, but you want to make sure that you have revenue coming in and that you can consistently engage with the government over that time period so you can bring work in. Now, you could sell to the government in a couple of months, right? But it usually takes longer than that. You need to be prepared for 12 to 18 months, and depending on how focused you are and how much effort you're putting into it, you'll certainly see the results. And that leads to the final 2 things, which are kind of linked. 4 and 5 really has to do with budget, time and money, right? So we talked about the timeline involved with selling to the government. So you just need to be able to budget your time, knowing that someone on your team is going to be able to consistently engage with the offices you're targeting for sales. Whether you're talking about marketing or responding to RFIs, someone's going to have to put some consistent effort in over an amount of time in order to generate those initial sales and then kind of keep that moving. And the second piece of that is just budgeting your funding for this, right? So unlike commercial sales, everything with the federal government is regulated by the Federal Acquisitions Regulations. So they're very specific about things like commissions. So I certainly have companies that reach out to me from time to time asking if we work on a commission-only basis. And the answer to that is no. The Federal Acquisitions Regulations are very specific about commission. So what you're going to find is if you find somebody to help you and you need to pay someone to help you with your federal sales, if they have a background in acquisitions and understand federal acquisitions regulations, you're probably not going to find someone that will work on a commission-only basis. You're going to have to be prepared to pay a fee, and that's typically how we charge, fee or fee plus commission, but usually not just commission. So just wanted you to hear kind of the 5 things that you really need to be aware of before you jump into federal sales. Again, it can be very lucrative. Many companies base and pivot to only federal sales eventually and do very well, but it does take a little bit of time to get there and some consistent effort and engagement. Thanks for watching the video. Like I said, feel free to, if you check those boxes, sign up for a free consultation. Love to talk about your company and your approach to the federal marketplace. Cheers.